A heartwarming call from a young girl exposes an incredible danger to a billionaire's wife. 12-year-old Mia had always been a little firecracker. With her wild, curly hair and bright freckles, she radiated energy that bounced off the walls of their snug suburban home. Yet, beneath her vibrant personality lay the weight of her family's struggles. Her dad, a mechanic with calloused hands, worked long hours in the garage, while her mom anxiously shuffled bills, worry furrowing her brow. Mia often felt like a jangling chain, confined by the financial pressures surrounding them. One sunny afternoon, while clearing out clutter with her mother, a gripping phone call reached Mia's ears. "Evelyn, are you there? We can't ignore these accidents happening around you." It was the frantic voice of their neighbor, Mrs. Johnson. Mia's heart raced as she caught snippets of the conversation, revealing a shocking twist about Evelyn Price, the glamorous wife of the town's billionaire. Evelyn, celebrated for beauty and wealth, lived in a mansion that hid her loneliness, a gilded cage, really. Curiosity twisted in Mia's chest, igniting a sense of empathy. She seems so lonely, and it's frightening what's happening, Mia thought, her heart pounding. Driven by a child's belief in the magic of friendship, she decided to reach out to Evelyn. Picking up her mom's phone, she fumbled nervously. When Evelyn answered, it was awkward at first, like two strangers trying to connect. But soon, their conversation blossomed. They giggled about Mia's quirky pet parrot and bonded over shared moments of feeling lost in their own worlds. As the calls continued, Mia learned of the struggles that lurked behind Evelyn's facade. Dark shadows haunted the glamorous life. The chilling reality of her husband's unethical dealings weighed heavily on her heart. "I don't know how to confront him," Evelyn admitted, her voice trembling. Mia felt a surge of determination. This wasn't just about Evelyn, this was about their entire community, threatened by the very man that held immense power. Mia quickly moved from concern to action. "We have to do something." She rallied her friends. Shadows of doubt loomed, but her spirit lit a fire in them. They gathered in her backyard, determined to confront injustices that plagued them. "If we work together, we can make change," she declared, eyes sparkling with hope. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. With moments of laughter amid serious discussions, Mia and her friends launched a grassroots movement. They put up posters and organized a neighborhood meeting. Voices that once felt small began to amplify as their concerns echoed through the community. But as they prepared for a clash with Evelyn's husband, doubts crept in. What if they failed? What if they stirred up trouble they couldn't handle? Yet, a flicker of hope lingered. Mia stood at the center of her neighborhood, heart pounding with both fear and excitement. "We can't back down," she reminded them. As the sun dipped low in the sky, casting golden light on their determination, Mia found her answer: courage is standing up, even when the shadows seem too daunting to face. The question burned in her mind: could their small voices collaborate to confront a force so mighty? Or would they be silenced before they even began? Mia stood in the backyard, a cool breeze fluttering around her like a whisper of encouragement. The fading sunlight cast long shadows across the grass, but her heart was ablaze with possibilities. With her friends by her side, each one clutching bright green posters decorated with slogans like "Truth over Power" and "United for Evelyn," she felt a thrilling mix of fear and excitement. Their small hands held big dreams. The neighborhood meeting was set for the following Saturday. Posters plastered across every mailbox buzzed with interest, attracting people from all over the area. As the date approached, Mia practiced her speech in front of the mirror. Her reflection stared back, a determined 12-year-old with fiery eyes who could spark change. But doubt flickered, too. What if the adults dismissed them? What if they laughed? Still, the thought of Evelyn, trapped and lonely in her mansion, filled her with resolve. "We can do this," Mia told herself, clenching her fists. "We have to do this." The big day arrived, and clouds brewed above, casting a gray hue over the neighborhood. Mia felt it in her bones a storm was coming, both meteorologically and metaphorically. People began to gather on her lawn, a mix of curious neighbors and supportive families. Mia's heart raced as they exchanged concerned whispers, eyes darting towards the vast, imposing mansion in the distance. Feeling overwhelmed, Mia took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Thank you all for being here." Her voice rang out, shaky but clear. The crowd quieted, and with every face she saw, her courage grew stronger. "I know we all feel the pressure of what is happening. Evelyn has been so brave, reaching out to us through our whispers." The murmurs resumed, but Mia pressed on. "We're not just supporting her, we're fighting for our community. Together, we can expose the wrongs and stand up for what is right." Just then, Mia noticed a glimmer of movement from the porch of Evelyn's mansion. Her heart skipped. Could it be? It was Evelyn, silhouetted against the backdrop of glowing windows, her long hair blowing gently in the wind. Mia's breath caught in her throat. Would she come? With a firm push, Evelyn stepped forward, and the crowd gasped. Their whispers turned into a cacophony of surprise and hope. Evelyn's voice wavered, but tears glistened in her eyes, sparkling with emotion. "I didn't know you all cared so much." Mia beamed, her heart swelling with joy. "We do. We're here for you," she exclaimed, and a wave of energy flowed through the crowd. Claps and cheers erupted, wrapping around Mia like a warm hug. Then, the atmosphere shifted. A rumbling thunder echoed in the distance as the skies darkened further. A sense of urgency prickled the air. Just as hope soared high, a familiar car glided down the street. It was Mr. Price, Evelyn's husband, the very man Mia hoped to confront. As the crowd's energy shifted from joy back to fear, Mia felt it in her bones they were standing on the edge of something big. Would they confront the man with so much power? Could they truly engage him in this fight? The questions clawed at her. Evelyn's gaze was fixated on the approaching vehicle, a mixture of fear and determination flickering across her face. "We must not let him silence us now." Mia took a step forward, emboldened. She locked eyes with Evelyn, ready to face whatever came next, but little did they know, Mr. Price had plans of his own, a dark secret he'd do anything to keep hidden. As the tension thickened, a single thought flashed through Mia's mind: could the rally ignite the change they all desperately needed? Or were they risking everything by standing up against a giant, with the storm brewing both in the skies and within the heart of their community? Mia braced herself for the moment that could change everything. Mia stood at the forefront of the crowd, her heart pounding as Mr. Price's car came to a slow stop. The palpable tension was like a living thing, snaking through the air and grasping at the thoughts of every onlooker. Her friends, no longer wearing carefree smiles, watched with wide eyes, their bright green posters drooping slightly in their hands. "Hey! This isn't a place for you, Mr. Price," shouted one of the bolder neighbors, a gruff man named Mr. Thompson. His voice cut through the murmurs, sharpening the atmosphere. Mia's breath hitched. Would this small community really stand together, or would fear fracture their resolve? As Mr. Price stepped out, the crowd fell silent. With slicked-back hair and designer clothes, he exuded power and control. But behind his charming smile, Mia sensed a darkness. She had read the whispers of his influence over Evelyn, how he closed her off from the world, how shadows seemed to linger just outside their shining mansion. For a moment, his eyes scanned the crowd, assessing the threat and the small voices daring to challenge him. "Good afternoon, everyone," he said, his tone dripping with feigned warmth. "I trust you're all enjoying the lovely weather." His voice tailed off as laughter bubbled among the crowd, a defiant energy rising. Mia felt a surge of courage flood through her. "We are fighting for our friend, your wife," she shouted. Her words rippled through the crowd, drawing nods and murmurs of agreement. "Evelyn deserves to be happy," a woman chimed in. "She deserves to be free." Mia turned to see her neighbor, Mrs. Reynolds, step forward, her fierce spirit igniting behind her frail frame. "Leave her alone." Another voice rang out, and the crowd rallied with strength to Mr. Price's smile faltered, and for a fleeting moment, Mia caught a glimpse of something darker behind his facade, anger and the realization that he was losing control. He straightened, as if trying to hold back the tide that was rising against him. "This is a family matter," Mr. Price asserted, his voice trembling slightly, revealing his cracks. "Stay out of it." But Mia wasn't deterred. The crowd was stirring, emboldened by a shared conviction. "No!" Mia cried. "It's not just about her. This is about us, too. We can't let fear silence us. We can't allow anyone to control our lives." With every word, she felt the energy of the crowd swell. Together, their voices formed a harmonious vow. Then, just as the storm clouds rolled overhead, something unexpected happened. A flash of lightning illuminated the mansion behind Mr. Price. It was as if the heavens themselves were affirming their protests, confirming their fierce desires for justice. Mr. Price stared back at Mia, disbelief etched into his features. The storm cracked with a fierce clap of thunder, drowning out the tension pulsing in the air. Then, a spark flickered in his eyes as he made a choice, his lips curved into a smirk, one that sent chills down Mia's spine. "Very well, let us see how far you'll go," he said, sharp as daggers. The word sent a wave of gasps through the crowd. Mia's heart raced at the challenge. What did he mean? Did he think they would back down? She felt a surge of determination. "We aren't afraid of you," she shouted, feeding off the crowd's energy. But behind Mr. Price's confidence lay the weight of secrets unspoken, and the storm was not just around them, it was within their hearts, too. What lay ahead could change everything, shattering the bonds of fear that had held them all captive for too long. As Mia stood firm, her friends and neighbors flocking to her side, she couldn't shake the feeling that they had just crossed some invisible line. Would they unleash a storm of consequences, or would their courage bring about the dawn of a new era in their community? What they didn't know was how quickly the shadows of Mr. Price could strike back. And with every heartbeat that passed, Mia couldn't help but wonder, could hope really outshine the darkness, or was someone about to be caught in the storm? The storm within the crowd echoed the tempest brewing overhead, and Mia could feel the charge in the air as the tension swirled. Mr. Price's smirk seemed to deepen, a sinister gleam in his eyes. Everyone held their breath, unsure of what would come next. "Isn't it cute," Mr. Price began, his voice dripped with condescension, "that you think a few voices can make a difference?" Murmurs rippled through the crowd, shaky fingers clutching homemade posters, hearts pounding in slight defiance. Mia clenched her fists, feeling a surge of warmth from her friends surrounding her. "We may be small," she shouted, "but together we are powerful." The words hung in the air, as if challenging the dark clouds overhead. Mr. Price glared at her, teeth gritted. "You think so? Let us put it to the test then, shall we?" He turned abruptly and marched back to his car. A cold wave of panic washed over the crowd as they exchanged glances filled with uncertainty. "What is he planning?" someone whispered. "What should we do?" Another voice cracked, fear creeping in. "I don't know," Mia admitted, her heart pounding. She felt small, fragile in this moment, but the faces surrounding her ignited a flicker of determination. "We can't let him intimidate us. We have to keep fighting for Evelyn." Suddenly, the sound of tires rolling against the gravel pulled their attention back. Mr. Price was pulling away, but not without leaving an unsettling reminder behind. "I'll see you soon," he called out, voice floating through the rolling thunder. The silence that followed was thick, heavy, and pregnant with fear. The storm intensified, rain starting to pour down in sheets. It felt ominous, but it felt like a cleansing too. Mia shifted her stance, her voice gaining strength as she raised her hands, commanding their attention. "We will not back down. This isn't just about today. It's about Evelyn. It's about freedom. We have to show our strength." Her words sparked something within the crowd. One by one, neighbors began to chant Evelyn's name. Evelyn. Evelyn. The stormy skies only seemed to fuel their chant, thunder reverberating like a heartbeat keeping time with their resolve. The crowd swelled with energy, the unity contagious. Mia glanced at her friends, their faces set with determination. They tucked their fear away like old letters and focused on the fight ahead. But within her heart, a ripple of doubt danced around her resolve. Would this truly be enough? As they chanted, Mia caught a glimpse of movement near the mansion. A figure emerged from behind the heavy doors, an almost ghost-like presence. It was Evelyn. She stepped onto the porch, hair slicked against her face, eyes filled with a mixture of longing and fear. The sight sent a bolt of adrenaline rushing through Mia. This was the moment they had been fighting for. Evelyn. Mia shouted, her voice rising above the storm, "We're here for you. You are not alone." Evelyn hesitated, then took a faltering step forward. The storm quieted in that moment, as if even nature held its breath, but before Mia could gather her courage to take a step toward Evelyn, the mansion door swung open wider. A chilling laugh echoed out. "I wouldn't be so sure about that." Mr. Price's voice rang out, sending shivers down Mia's spine. Mia's heart sank, the challenge was escalating, and danger loomed closer. What had they triggered? Would this newfound strength hold against the storm of his wrath? "Together we stand, together we fight," she shouted, but the crowd's confidence wavered at the threat hanging over them. Would they all stand tall, or would the storm of Mr. Price tear them apart? As she stood amidst her neighbors, the unspeakable truth loomed heavy. This battle was just beginning, and the coming tempest held secrets darker than they could ever imagine. The question hung in the air: how far were they willing to go to save Evelyn and themselves? Mia felt her pulse quicken, the tension wrapping around her like the rain-soaked wind. Evelyn's gaze darted back and forth between the crowd and Mr. Price, her steps hesitant, as though the very ground beneath her had started to tremble. "Evelyn, please." Mia called again, her heart aching for the girl on the porch. "We won't let him take you." Mr. Price's derisive laughter sent a chill through the air. "What are you going to do, little girl? Wave your posters at me?" he taunted, stepping closer to Evelyn, who flinched at his proximity. The crowd was a roaring sea of faces, some fierce, some frightened. Mia could feel the tide shifting, doubt creeping in. She turned to her friends, searching their eyes for courage. "We can't let him win. Evelyn deserves better than this. Her life matters." From somewhere in the back, a voice called out, "Mia's right. We can't give up." That voice sparked a chain reaction. One after another, people shouted their agreement, a rising chorus of hope infused with urgency. "Evelyn. We love you. We are here." Mia felt her heart swell with their unified resolve. But Mr. Price was not easily swayed. "Heartwarming, but naive." he sneered. "You really think this will change anything? I have all the power here." The wind whipped violently, thunder crashing as if in response to his words. Mia pressed forward, each step through the mud feeling like a step into the unknown. "Evelyn!" she cried again, her voice amplified amidst the chaos. "You don't belong with him. You're stronger than this." Evelyn stood frozen, torn between her fear of Mr. Price and the warmth of familiarity radiating from the crowd. A tear slipped down her cheek, reflecting the tumultuous sky. I want to believe you," she murmured, her voice almost lost in the storm. "Then come to us," Mia urged, feeling the intensity of the moment build around her. "We're all ready to fight for you." Mr. Price's expression hardened, snapping into fury. "You think you know what's best for her? You think this is a game?" His hand shot out, pointing toward the protesters. "You have no idea what's really at stake." Mia's breath caught in her throat. The heaviness of the threat in his words hung like smoke. She glanced back at her friends Josh, Sarah, and Lily, who stood side by side, faces alight with determination. Taking a deep breath, she channeled every ounce of strength she could muster. Together, we stand as one, she shouted, raising her arms high, urging the crowd to follow. This isn't just for Evelyn, it's for all of us. It's for our right to hope, to live freely. The chant erupted around her, louder and fiercer than before. Evelyn! Evelyn! We will not back down. Evelyn stared at them, something shifting in her eyes. It was as if a door was unlocking within her, revealing the possibility of escape beyond the chains that had bound her. But just then, the shadows beneath Mr. Price thickened, and he stepped forward with a terrifying finality, drawing everyone's attention. That was a good show, Mia, he sneered as darkness coiled around him, but I hope you're ready to face the consequences. Mia's stomach dropped as a sense of dread filled her. What kind of consequences was he talking about? She clenched her fists, ready to push through whatever fear he sought to instill. Evelyn, come! She shouted again, her voice strong with unyielding hope. But then a loud crash sounded from the mansion's inside, followed by a piercing scream. The crowd gasped collectively, eyes wide with horror as the storm outside completed its chaos with a fierce roar. Mia's heart raced. What was happening inside? And with the storm escalating, was their fight only just beginning? Evelyn! She called once more, all doubts now drowned out by the urgency of the moment. Would they have enough strength to face whatever Mr. Price planned? The finality of the storm was crashing down, and Mia realized, deep in her gut, that the battle was not just for Evelyn, it was for all of them, for their very futures. How far would they really go as darkness closed in? The scream echoed again, louder this time, slicing through the chaos. Mia felt it resonate in her bones. Fear coiled around her like the dark clouds swirling above, but alongside it, a fierce determination ignited in her heart. She couldn't understand what was happening inside the crash, the terror, but she knew one thing, they couldn't just stand there. Not now. Evelyn, she shouted again, desperation clawing at her throat. Stay with us. We're here. Mr. Price's sneer twisted into an ugly grimace, as if their unity was a personal affront. You're meddling in things far beyond your understanding, he spat, stepping even closer to Evelyn. The darkness at his feet seemed to pulse, twisting like living smoke. Mia's pulse raced as she glimpsed Evelyn's face. The girl's eyes fluttered in confusion, torn between the warmth of her friends and the icy grip of Mr. Price's hold. But in that moment, Mia saw a flicker of defiance beneath the fear. She had to keep it alive. Evelyn. This time, Mia took a step forward, her voice stronger. Just think of all we've shared. Remember those times we laughed, those late nights talking about our dreams? You deserve those moments, not this. The crowd echoed her words, a wave of memories crashing over them. From behind, a familiar voice shouted, "We love you, Evelyn. Don't let him win." Mia turned to see Josh stepping forward, a protective stance in place, fists clenched at his sides. His fierce gaze met hers, silently urging her to keep going. If Josh could stand firm, then so could she. "Please, sweetheart." A voice broke through the crowd. It was Ms. Turner, Evelyn's former teacher, eyes brimming with tears. "You are not alone. You have a future with us, not with him." Evelyn blinked, staring into the faces that had come together for her. Mia saw realization dawn in her eyes, a glimmer of hope fighting through the shadows. And then the air shifted. Suddenly, the scream from within the mansion erupted again, cutting through the moment, raw and filled with panic. Mia felt the chill of dread slither down her spine. What was happening in there? Mr. Price's posture became tense, the shadows around him swirling like a storm about to unleash its fury. "Enough of this nonsense!" he roared. "You think you can save her? You are just a group of lost sheep." The storm outside raged as if it mirrored the growing anxiety within Mia. She took a breath, feeling the weight of every person around her, each heartbeat syncing with her own. "Evelyn, we want you!" she cried, her voice rising in defiant unison with the roar of thunder. "You are so much more than this. Choose us." Time seemed to stretch as Evelyn's expression shifted. Fear mingled with recognition, and in that moment, staring at Mia, she began to step forward, inching closer to freedom. But just then, Mr. Price's hand shot out, a dark flash of anger. "You will regret this," he warned, his voice a chilling whisper that promised chaos. The ground trembled beneath them, and Mia felt the air tightening, pulling inward. "Evelyn!" she shouted once more, willing every ounce of strength into those words. But as the storm howled, new threats loomed closer. It felt like danger was crawling in from all sides. Would they really risk everything in their fight to save her? And what darkness was still trapped inside that mansion, waiting to be unleashed? Mia held her breath, heart racing, as shadows moved, and then everything erupted into a cacophony of noise and fear. The battle wasn't over, it was just beginning. The ground shook violently, sending tremors through the crowd. Mia staggered back, her heart pounding in her chest as she fought to stay grounded. Panic threatened to swallow her whole, but she couldn't falter. "Not now. Evelyn!" she shouted again, the word feeling heavier, like a last-ditch lifeline tossed into a stormy sea. She could barely see through the chaos. Dark tendrils snaked toward them, creeping closer, spreading an air of dread. Mr. Price's figure loomed larger, menacing. His laughter tore through the chaos, a sound devoid of warmth. "You think your love can save her? Love is weak, and so are you." Mia swallowed hard, her throat dry. But amidst the darkness, one thing rang true: love could be a weapon, and they were the force behind it. She could feel it building within her, a strength forged in the fires of hope and desperation. "Evelyn, please!" Mia called, locking eyes with her friend. "You're stronger than him. We won't let him take you." She could see how those words touched Evelyn's heart, sparking something deep within. Josh stepped up beside her, shoulders squared, breathing heavily as if preparing to face an unseen adversary. "Don't give in. You know who you are." The crowd backed them, chanting Evelyn's name like a mantra, each call becoming a ripple of strength that surged toward the girl trapped in darkness. "Evelyn," Miss Turner added, her voice breaking. "You've always had a light. Remember who you are: a fighter, a dreamer. Don't let him extinguish that." In that moment, something shifted within Evelyn. Her eyes glimmered with a spark, and for the first time, she seemed to resist the pull of the shadows. "Evelyn!" Mia shouted, her voice piercing through the noise of doubt. "Remember the summer nights? The dreams we wrote together? The plans we made to change the world?" Every word created a bridge, a connection that reached past the chaos, echoing in the hidden corners of Evelyn's heart. The girl took another step forward, a hesitant movement, but it was enough. But Mr. Price wasn't finished. His voice growled, and anger twisted his features. "No. You don't understand what's at stake. I will not let you ruin everything." He thrust his hand forward, shadows racing to solidify around her, desperate to pull her back. "Stay back!" Josh shouted, positioning himself between Mr. Price and Evelyn. A protective instinct surged through him as he braced for an onslaught. Mia's stomach dropped. "Evelyn, keep coming. Don't let him take you back." The shadows writhed and twisted in response, darts of darkness whipping around Josh and Mia like angry vipers. They stood defiant, hearts racing, clinging to hope. Then something snapped within the void around Evelyn. In a flash, the tendrils flared, pulled by a magnetic force, rushing in all directions, almost as if caught in a whirlwind. "Now!" Mia yelled, every ounce of her determination pouring into those two syllables. Evelyn's face lit with clarity, and she took a firm step toward her friends. "I choose them." A brightness flared from within her, pushing against the shadows as if igniting the darkness itself. As the light surged, a new sound pierced the chaos: an explosion, echoing from deep within the mansion. It shook the very walls with the force of an ancient anger unleashed, creating a fissure of uncertainty. Mia gasped, dread settling heavily. What had they awakened? The darkness recoiled momentarily under the brilliance of Evelyn's light, but it was clear, the battle was far from over. Shadows twisted with malevolence, swirling angrily, threatening to return with full force. Evelyn. Focus. Mia urged, feeling the pull of time racing against them. As the confrontation reached its peak, uncertainty loomed. Was this a turning point, or merely the beginning of something they couldn't escape? And just as Mia's heart soared, she realized they were all standing on a precipice. The true danger was about to emerge from the shadows, and it would require more than love and friendship to confront it. What would it take to face the dark truth lurking at the mansion's heart? Time was running out, and a storm was brewing. The explosion reverberated through the air, shaking the ground beneath them and swallowing the room in a haze of dust and debris. The crowd gasped, their collective breath hitching in their throats. Mia's heart raced, pounding so hard it threatened to burst out of her chest. This was no ordinary confrontation, they had unleashed something powerful, something long hidden within the mansion's crumbling walls. Evelyn, she yelled, storming through the haze, reaching out toward her friend. The light radiating from Evelyn flickered but didn't falter. Every inch closer Mia moved, she felt the pull of both light and dark wrestling around them. Josh was still between Mr. Price and Evelyn, his face steeled in determination. "We won, back down," he shouted, his voice carrying through the chaos. But Mr. Price only laughed, a chilling sound that cut through the noise. "Fools! You think love can defeat me? You don't know what I've embraced." His words slithered through the air, coating their spirits in cold dread. Mia could see the shadows creeping back, ready to reclaim what they believed was rightfully theirs. Panic threatened to take hold again. But as she looked at Evelyn, a newfound determination glimmered in her eyes. Mimi could feel it, a fierce steadiness, a blazing determination that seemed to push back against the black tendrils. "Evelyn. Remember that dream we had about saving the world?" Mia called, urgency lacing her voice. "This is it. This is our chance." The crowd took up the chant again, their voices rising in a hopeful crescendo. "Evelyn. Evelyn." Each echo was a gentle nudge toward victory, a reminder of her strength and resilience. Evelyn's lips parted. I remember." She gasped, the light around her flickering brighter, almost erratic. She took another step. "I choose," and then the shadows descended upon her with a ferocity that made Mia's breath catch. "No." Josh lunged forward, but the darkness wrapped around Evelyn, pulling her back with violent force, her feet sliding across the stone floor. With each scream of fright from the crowd, Mia felt her heart splinter. "Evelyn. You have power. You are light." Just then, amidst the despair, an unexpected twist surged through her. Mia remembered the small moments, sharing ice cream in the summer sun, laughing under the stars, whispering secrets. "Evelyn." She shouted again, her voice breaking through. "You are not alone. I am here. We are all here." Evelyn's face transformed. It was as if the love of their friendship cast a shield from the encroaching darkness. The light around her pulsed, becoming steadier, stronger. "I am not afraid," Evelyn cried, clenching her fists. "I choose my friends." With that, the light grew into a blinding flare, illuminating the entire room and illuminating every shadow. A fierce wind swept through, and Mia felt it, an energy not just from Evelyn, but from the entire crowd. The shadows hissed, retreating, but Mr. Price roared with rage, his form twisting and distorting as he tried to maintain his grip on Evelyn. "You will regret this moment." Suddenly, the earth trembled again, the walls of the mansion creaking ominously. Light poured out of the fissure, revealing a passageway they hadn't noticed before. Mia glanced at Josh, his eyes wide with realization. What if that's the source of his power? An unspoken understanding passed between them. They had to go through that passage, confront whatever lay beyond to truly defeat Price. "Are we ready?" Mia asked, feeling the weight of every heartbeat, every ounce of fear that lingered in the air. Evelyn turned, her determination fierce. "We have to be." And just like that, the four of them rushed toward the light, braving the unknown. But even as they surged forward, a chilling laugh echoed behind them, and the shadows began to swirl once more. What dark secret did the mansion's heart conceal? What awaited them in the unknown depths? The air hummed with an electric tension as Mia, Josh, Evelyn, and the others plunged into the glowing passage. The brightness was an intense contrast to the darkness they had just fled, but it felt welcoming, a glimpse of hope against the despair they not only faced, but were determined to overcome. As they moved forward, the walls began to shift, transforming from rough stone to smooth, glistening marble that reflected their anxious faces. Light danced in their eyes, and for a moment, it felt as though they were walking into a sanctuary rather than a confrontation. "What if this is a trap?" Josh whispered, his expression flickering between courage and doubt. "No," Mia replied, forcing a smile though her stomach churned with uncertainty. "This is our chance. We can do this together." Behind them, the shadows roared, seeming to shake the very foundation of the mansion as if enraged. Their whispers echoed in the corridor, chilling but distant like a bad memory trying to claw its way back into reality. "Keep moving," Evelyn urged, as she squeezed Mia's hand tightly, anchoring them both. The pulse of light around her brightened with each step they took, radiating warmth in the cold air. They hurried down the passage, the walls pulsing like a heartbeat as they entered a vast chamber. The air shifted, thick with energy, and a sudden realization filled the space. There, illuminated by a solitary beam of light, stood an ancient altar draped in shimmering silk. On it rested a crystal orb, flickering with many colors, a beacon they all instinctively recognized. The source of his power. Josh gasped, eyes widening in wonder and fear. Mia moved closer, entranced. "If we can destroy it, we'll weaken him." But as they approached, a low murmur echoed through the chamber. It surged like an outpouring of dark thoughts, chilling them to the bone. "You think you can dismantle my essence? You are merely pawns in this game." Mr. Price's voice slithered around them, encasing them in dread once more. Mia's heart raced. "Not if we stand together. We have to believe in ourselves." Just as Evelyn steadied her gaze on the orb, it pulsed and flickered violently, shadows swirling around it like a storm. A ghostly figure of Mr. Price emerged from the shadows, his face twisted in anger and despair. "You have no idea the power that protects me. The darkness is eternal." But with renewed courage, Evelyn stepped forward, her voice steady and loud. "This isn't just your strength. We have love. We have friendship. And together, we are stronger than you can imagine." The crowd echoed her sentiments, chanting Evelyn's name like a spell of protection. "Evelyn! Evelyn!" The orb responded, shivering at the sound of their combined voices, casting fractals of light into every corner. The shadows writhed in response, seething in their confinement as if threatened by the rising power of unity. Then, a sudden rush of wind swept through the chamber, and Mia felt the very foundation of their reality quiver. "We need to act fast," she shouted, glancing at her friends, their expressions filled with determination. Evelyn reached toward the orb, closing her eyes, channeling the energy that surged from the crowd into a singular focus. "Together, we can break this curse." Just as her fingers brushed the orb's surface, Mr. Price's scream pierced the air, a sound so raw and filled with rage that it shook the chamber. "You cannot take back what's already mine." Mia, feeling the urgency surge through her veins, took a step forward. "We won't let you take anyone else." And in that moment, as their hands united around the orb, a blinding light erupted, and the darkness shrieked, unraveling frantically. But even amidst the light, a part of Mia worried. Could they truly end this? Would the darkness haunt her dreams forever? As the shadows began to dissolve, the walls trembled once more, but not from fear, they were quaking with anticipation. What awaited them next, in the aftermath of the chaos? Would their friendship and courage really be enough to vanquish Mr. Price forever? What would they have to sacrifice in order to save themselves? The blinding light exploded around them, engulfing the chamber, transforming shadows into shimmering particles that danced in delight. Mia felt warmth radiate from the orb, enveloping her, her heart racing with hope. The air quaked as Evelyn's determination solidified the strength of their bond, lifting them above the swirl of chaos. "Don't let go," Mia called out, gripping Evelyn's hand fiercely as they pressed their palms against the orb. "We can do this." With every heartbeat, their unity transformed fear into a living force. The orb pulsed brightly, reflecting the unwavering strength coursing through their hearts and those who stood with them. Mr. Price's furious roars echoed, desperately clawing for control, his shadowy figure wavering as he fought against the onslaught of light. "You think your friendship can save you? Think again." He spat, anger twisting his features, but the crowd behind them rallied as one. "Yes, it can," they shouted, their voices lifting the energy even higher. "Love will conquer all." The surge traveled through Mia like wildfire, igniting courage that overshadowed their doubts. Mia locked eyes with Evelyn, a shared understanding passing between them. "We're not just here for you, we're here for everyone. For every lonely heart trapped in darkness." The light around the orb intensified, shimmering with every word. With renewed urgency, Evelyn lifted her voice higher. "Your darkness is temporary. It's time to end this." They pressed their palms firmly against the orb, and in that instant, it felt like the entire world held its breath. A whirlwind of colors erupted from within as the orb cracked, sending out radiant beams that shattered the darkness, transforming it into a cascade of stars. In a final resonating burst, the light engulfed them all, releasing a sound more powerful than thunder, one that carried the truth of their hearts and the strength of their community. Through the brightness, Mia saw Evelyn glow with confidence, her spirit shining unrecognizably strong. In that moment, she realized it wasn't just about confronting Mr. Price, it was about the metamorphosis they all underwent together. They were climbing higher than they ever thought possible. As the last remnants of shadows dissipated like morning mist, Mia felt a tremendous shift within her. Doubts and fears melted away, replaced by a warm embrace of courage they had co-created. They were not just kids anymore, they had become a force to be reckoned with. With the darkness retreating, Mr. Price's malevolence twisted and screamed, his power waning as the light pulled him deeper into the shadows he tried to control. "You will pay for this," he hissed, his voice losing its dominance, now filled with desperation. And then, suddenly, it was over. The darkness collapsed upon itself, revealing a gentle quiet where oppressive shadows once lurked. Evelyn, breathless and radiant, turned to Mia, her eyes sparkling with fresh resolve. "We did it." The crowd erupted into cheers, the weight of collective fear lifted. Mia's heart soared. They had confronted the greatest fear standing against their tyrant and emerged victorious together. They were a family united, woven together not just by struggle but by the beautiful threads of resilience. As the group embraced each other, laughter bubbling like a song, Mia scanned their faces, her friends, neighbors, and even the hesitant adults who had come, finally feeling the strength of community. Hope glimmered in the air around them like a beautiful promise for the future. "It's time to create a world where no one feels alone," Evelyn said, her voice steady with determination. "We can transform shadows into stories of hope." Mia nodded, feeling the pulse of something greater than herself, a heartbeat pounding in sync with the future they were about to shape together. "Yes. We'll make sure everyone knows their voice counts." As they gathered under the now clear sky, the community stood together, fists high, ready to face anything that might come. They knew the darkness could always attempt a return, but they also knew the light within them burned brighter than any shadow ever could. The storm had passed, and in its wake, they felt the warmth of friendship sealed in courage, of hearts brave enough to speak up, of a community transformed. They turned towards each other, united like never before, knowing this was just the beginning of their amazing journey together. Mia smiled, a radiant joy filling her heart. They hadn't just saved Evelyn, they had saved themselves, and the world felt just a little bit brighter. and as the credits rolled on this chapter of their lives, the community found their voices weaving a new story, one full of love, laughter, and never-ending hope. Now, as we wrap up this incredible journey, remember you need to subscribe now to keep up with our next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to fuel our amazing content and comment below to share your feelings about this transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to feel this inspiration. Your support means the world, and only true fans like you understand its importance.